We all know the world isn't fair and everyone isn't born equally, but Asta is the definition of hard work prevailing against that to become Wizard King. However, just like the real world, if I'm born with certain advantages due to genetics, you clearly can apply hard work to harness it to achieve your dream, but it can only go so far. Similarly, time magic x soul magic that cranks up the immortality to godlike. Remember Julius literally defied death against Patry with the rune on his head, but then his brother comes along and makes it child's play in comparison. My man died against Yuno and then said, nope, here's 100 clones because I manipulated the souls of my siblings and used their magic for myself. As a result, it has the potential of having the most powerful healing in the entire series. Lucius even granted sight to the blind and regrew lost limbs. Lucius Zogratis was the most talented devil host in history, causing his body to house not just one but two souls. His magic type is so busted that he convinced himself it was fate for him to take over the world due to the advantage that life had given him. Soul magic is so strong, all it takes is one touch and you're done for. He can turn you into his puppet, making you believe he's right and all of his decisions are correct. Now, because a person's soul is the root of their life, spirit, and magic power, by altering their soul, the user can affect any of these aspects of a person. He used his soul magic to incarnate and purify devils in human forms, making a new race labeled Paladins. He also performed this on himself, which proceeds to no-diff Asta's Master Devil Union. My man can also resurrect the dead, by the way, and make them fight by his side, turning the Magic Knight captains into complete fodder. He brought back Noelle's mother, Nark's brother, and much more. This is magic similar to Rades.
Who?
This guy? Eye patch? Yeah. He has one spell in his book for resurrection, but any other magic type you can think of, Lucius makes it look like trash in comparison to his own that can do the same thing but much better. Now, with time magic, you can steal others' time and store it, meaning that Lucius can heal his own wounds instantly. Stop you in time as a capture method. Time magic also has the capability of aging yourself or making you younger. He also used it to make Midnight Sun members into dust and erase their existence. Furthermore, Patry almost predicted that something was fishy about Julius because of how strong time magic was. As he states, there is no way Julius was a human. He even held back against Patry to capture him for questioning and still had him completely outmatched. Patry had to resort to using arrows of judgment to wipe out the Clover Kingdom, but Julius, he managed to stop all of them. He froze their time with chronoanesthesis, rewinding them to nothing. The only reason Patry beat Julius was number 1, he was distracted to save everyone, and number 2, he knew he would come back to life and had predicted the future with the 3 prophecies given to Asta. He did all of this to save William.
Who?
But all of Julius's feats are nothing compared to Lucius. Lucius also uses time magic to see every possible future and plan accordingly. Yup, he's basically Doctor Strange. But one person that made him question his future reading abilities is Yuno's magic. It's another unique case of union magic between Star and Wind. Whilst we have seen multiple people combine their magic types together, such as Lumiere and Licht against Zagrid, Yuno is the only person on the planet blessed with 2 different grimoires naturally, which caused a singularity, as Lucius stated in chapter 336. A singularity refers to a place in the universe where our laws of physics simply break down. Even on their own, these magic types are ridiculously overpowered, but together, they create someone that everyone instantly recognizes as the future Wizard King. As a result of Star X Wind magic, Yuno gets access to Neverland, which gives him the ability to manipulate space-time such as his allies becoming more powerful whilst the enemy are weakened. This magic type is so busted that it's the whole reason Lucius knew he had to crush Yuno for his plan to even have a chance at success, as his time magic is useless inside Neverland because time does not move within its vicinity, and we know for a fact Neverland can reach a huge radius as it encapsulated the entire noble realm. Not only that, but there's nothing stopping Yuno using it as a hyperbolic time chamber where he can do years worth of training in just 1 second. This would explain why Yuno has leveled up so fast, hence why Andremelech the devil states he's never seen a human grow so rapidly in a short span of time. This meant Yuno could close the gap in power between him and Lucius, which made him so strong. Lucius, for God's sake, even called him his rival.
Cheating करता है तू.
Star magic gives you the capabilities of instant teleportation with conjunction. This can be used to escape spatial magic, which Zetan had declared himself the best in the world, yet lost to this magic type. It even got Lucifero and Lucius questioning themselves, as conjunction can also move away allies instantly from danger. But that's not even the best of its defensive power, as Yuno also displayed how it covered the entire realm, saving every single person from the Angel's blast that were capable of nuking the entire goddamn city. He can put this shield on anyone he chooses, which swiftly brings me to another reason star magic is busted, as it also has offensive abilities such as quartile Haste, which uses light. Yep, it gives you another magic type apparently, and this light creates a Kamehameha essentially. And then there's the whip version of it, which is so sharp that it can cut through almost anything. Thanks to star and wind magic combining, Yuno was able to outspeed Lucius's predictions and land attacks on him, achieving the greatest feat in the entire story so far. Frankly, he is the epitome of an example of how far an elemental magic type such as wind can go, especially since you can get the wind spirit. Its versatility is insane. It has shields that are strong enough to block Lucius's attacks, lets him fly at speeds beyond multiple times light speed, creates endless amounts of weapons that are capable of killing the strongest of devils, but even create things out of thin air, such as the swift white hawk. If you had wind magic or star magic on your grimoire ceremony, you're gonna have a big old smile on your face, bro. Yuno steps up, gaining new anti-magic and wielding Asta's own sword. But don't celebrate yet, because this is the moment Yuno will actually die. Lucius goes full god mode, absorbing every grimoire in existence. So seriously, how can they possibly win now? Guess what? Yuno powers up and turns off his Neverland spell that is protecting the entire kingdom. In this huge gamble, as Yuno becomes a glass cannon with a limited time span, he's focusing on winning, trusting that the fodder can hold their own. However, that is a lot to ask for, Yuno. Like, Asta is dead, which dispels all the anti-magic he gave the squad, making them weaker, and Neverland was boosting the power of allies and weakening the enemy. So all of them basically need to surpass their limits to buy time. Yuno then goes on the offensive, landing attacks on Lucius, but bro claims that, bruh, it's too late. There is nobody that could ever hope to beat me anymore. That's when Asta extends his Demon Dweller and passes it on, which is a direct parallel to the battle against Lucifero, by the way. At that point, Yuno assisted with his star magic, but this time Asta is giving anti-magic. Now, if you're wondering why Yuno can use Asta's spells now, shouldn't it negate his own magic? Well, we don't care, because Tabata could peak, and that's when Yuno's new transformation is revealed. He harnesses the power of anti-magic, making his star magic and all his weapons black. Yuno states they are not running away from battle. Instead, Lucius will be meeting his grave. However, in all honesty, this is Tabata's writing putting an end to his character. Remember that, according to series editor Fukuda, it was originally planned for Yuno to die in chapter 7, but he advised Tabata not to do that because Yuno functions as a permanent yardstick for Asta's growth. Losing Yuno that soon in the story would have robbed future arcs and their potential rivalry. Fast forward to now, Lucius has seen hundreds of timelines, and in every single one, Asta is not his rival. This is a misconception in the community. Remember that Lucius, he always declares that Yuno is his rival. Now, why is that? Because no matter how many futures Lucius observes, Yuno is always the last one standing. There's only one timeline he thinks they can gain victory, which is Yuno being a singularity, a life forged with two souls, one of which is being the Prince of Spade born with star magic, and an elf soul gifted with wind magic. But here's the catch, the elf soul never left his body. Unlike every other reincarnated elf, this one stayed with him for a reason. In chapter 308, Yuno acknowledges the elf soul within him as a part of his identity and makes up all of who he is. But in a haunting moment in chapter 331, Yuno's mother warns him, there are things you must know, even if you're not ready. Yuno learned about the Spade Kingdom prophecy, a star prince destined to stand against the apocalypse. Now Lucius knows this, and that's why he calls Yuno his true rival across all time. However, here's where it gets even more scary. Lucius has been targeting his enemy's souls and can kill you if he touches it. He just gained the two magic types that completely counter Yuno. The chains seal away all magic as shown, but Guelder also poses a problem. Lucius can now use his invincibility magic to make himself undetectable to mana and immune to magic spells whilst he's active. Guelder even fooled an elf doing this and all the Magic Knight captains. So unlike Asta, Yuno cannot detect ki, so he will have to use other means to catch Lucius with anti-magic. But given that the dude can teleport with time, it's obvious Lucius will touch Yuno's soul to kill him. So if Lucius does achieve that, which soul died? Well, I think it's the elf one. Yuno would lose his wind magic, his bond with Belle, and half of who he is. He will be unconscious and everyone will think he's dead across the entire kingdom, which would give Asta the motivation he needs to surpass his limits and never give up on his friend, especially his brother who promised to fight for the title of Wizard King with him. This fulfills Tabata's original plan to kill Yuno without actually removing him from the story, because there's a Black Clover rule. No one dies in this series, right? Jack don't count. We don't give a shit about him.
Let me tell you, we don't care. Jerry.
So eventually, Yuno will make one last assist for our MC to get the dub against Lucius. He can use star magic one last time to support Asta's final Zetan strike against the crystal on Lucius' chest. Now to enjoy more peak fiction, watch this video on your screen right now.